There was once a man who traveled for many miles, crossing the scorching heat of the Judean desert, just to seek one person. He went not out of curiosity, nor the innocence of a devotee. He went out of a deep inner restlessness, an existential anxiety that he tried to mask with intellectual questions. Amidst the noisy crowd clamoring for miracles and salvation, this man pushed through to reach Jesus. When he finally stood before him, his voice trembled. It was not the trembling of reverence, but the fear of a man who dreaded the very answer he sought. He cried out, "Master, tell me, who created this universe? Was it you or the Father in heaven?" It was a purely dualistic question. The man wanted a name, an address, a master, so that he could feel safe. For if this universe has a controller, then perhaps his own insecure life would finally have a purpose. Jesus looked at him, a gaze that was non-judgmental yet piercing. He did not rush to teach like the scribes, nor did he argue like the philosophers. He watched the man as one watches a child who has picked up a diamond, thinking it is just a common stone. He remained silent long enough for the noise around them to subside, then spoke softly, "Before I answer, tell me, from where within you does this question truly arise?" The man was startled. Jesus did not throw him a concept to fill his mind. He threw the ball of responsibility back into his very soul. He deconstructed the fear behind the question. The man stammered, saying he wanted to know, because everyone was arguing, because the crowd was divided. Jesus laughed, softly, laugh that dissolved all illusions. He said, "Do you see? You are filled with the noise of others. You are not asking your own question. You are repeating the anxieties of the crowd. You want this universe to have an owner because if it has an owner, you feel protected. But this very need for an external authority is the root of all your misery." He pointed to a nearby tree and the drifting clouds above. "Look at this tree. It never asks who made it. It simply grows, blossoms, and gives shade. Its gratitude is in its very living. Look at the clouds. They drift without maps, without scriptures, without commandments. They simply move. And in that movement is their truth." Then Jesus stepped closer. He placed his hand on the man's chest, where the heart was beating frantically. "You ask me who created the universe, yet you do not know who is creating your thoughts. You do not know who is creating your fears, your desires, and your ambitions. You do not know who is the one truly standing here asking this question." The man whispered under his breath, then, "Who are you? Are you the Creator?" Jesus smiled, a smile that dissolved all separation. "I am not the Creator, but the Creator is not separate from me, just as the ocean is not separate from the wave. What is the wave without the ocean? And what would the ocean be without the capacity to become the wave? He stooped down, picked up a handful of dust, and let it fall freely through his fingers. This dust is ancient. It has been stars, mountains, and oceans, and it will become stars again. The Creator does not stand behind it. The Creator is within it. Creation is not an event that happened and ended in the past. Creation is happening now, every breath, every heartbeat. And in this very moment, you are listening to me. You may not find this story in the pages of Orthodox scriptures. Many will argue over its authenticity. They will demand chapter and verse, fearing for the purity of their dogma. But if we are too busy guarding the shell of tradition, we will miss the pearl of truth. Whether you see Jesus as a savior or an enlightened master, the essence remains. Truth is not found in an objective answer. It is found in the awakening within. Jesus concluded with a voice as light as a breeze, yet as powerful as thunder. When your eye disappears, only then the Creator and the creation are one. Only then you truly see. Do not seek who created the universe. Seek the one who is asking. He walked away, leaving the man standing in the vastness of Judea. The man stood there in a thunderous silence, a state where the question had dissolved, the seeker had vanished, and only pure existence remained. He had not received knowledge to store in his memory. He had received a collapse, the collapse of the false ego. We are often like that man, forever seeking an external power to blame or to beg. We live in the noise of borrowed concepts, but if today you can stop for a single second not to ask, why is the world like this? But who is the one feeling this? Perhaps you will touch the silence that Jesus left behind. Because, after all, the dancer is never separate from the dance, and you are the greatest dance of this universe.